Oh, man, it's...
Henry, you're certainly no stranger to big wins. You know, you were already the flyweight champion. There's reports you may have won a gold medal at one point in your life. I'm not sure about that, but
It's right here.
give me an idea. Where does this moment rank among big moments like that in your career?
Man, I don't even know if I could even rank these. I really don't, man. Like, the Demetrius Johnson was extremely special to me. Like, that one was... But this was, I mean, this puts me in the legacy. This puts me in a very secluded club. I mean, I'm the fourth person to ever hold them, simultaneously. And that was almost never my goal. Like, my goal was to just win the Olympics, be a UFC champion, and that's it. But then I saw him, and I was like, I saw my improvement as a mixed martial artist, like the mind and the people around me, and that all changed. I was like, you know what, I could do this. Why not me? And it was, hats off to Marlon Moraes. The dude is strong as steel. I remember seeing him across the cage. I'm like, damn, that's who I'm gonna fight. I mean, a rock, and he kicked like a horse. I mean, his kicks were really, really dangerous. I can see how he's put so many people to sleep. But the key to this victory was composure and being active and adjusting and abandoning the game plan that we had. I had suffered an injury in my left ankle when you had asked me. I said it was the right knee. But I had suffered it on Tuesday night, like the first night that we got there. The UFC mats, they weren't, kind of some cheap tape. And I stepped on the crack, which I thought it was sealed together, and I sprained my ankle. So, the rumors were true. But I had to kind of keep it to myself, get therapy along the week. Hats off to Heather Linden for doing that. And I was able to fight through adversity again, going in with adversity and then getting kicked exactly where it was hurting. I mean, it was. I think that's also what makes this victory extremely special.
Yeah, it was a tough start for you, right? I mean, Marlon was off to a good start, and you credited your perseverance, your heart. But were there technical adjustments that you had to make as well that kind of stemmed the tide in your favor?
Yeah, I had to, yeah. I remember my coach, Santino DeFranco, he asked me in the corner, he's like, hey, man, if you want to win this fight, you're going to have to press him. Like, you're not going to survive, man. You're not going to survive taking these hits. And, I mean, I got these baseballs in my shins right now. And then I said, okay, man, then I'm going in. Like, I have to press. I have to make it a dogfight. I had to compensate. I had to adjust to him. Screw it.
We saw you obviously limping a little bit, and you were wheeled in. Is that part of that ankle injury as well, or is that just the leg kicks?
No, that was more the leg kicks. That was more the leg kicks. The ankle I just couldn't push off and really go in and penetrate, or even like. I'd never tested picking somebody up. Let me put it to you that way. I was kind of, if it happens in the fight, then screw it.
You had an interesting list of names when you got on the mic. Cruz, Faber, Garbrandt. I think a lot of us tonight were debating Aljamain or Peter Yan. Those names didn't come up. Do you think those guys are deserving contenders, or why did you lay out the names that you did?
Because those are legends, man. Because I want big fights, man. I'm on a legend rampage. That's what I want. I'm a legend killer. I want big fights, man. I want to fight Dominic Cruz. You guys wouldn't like Dominic Cruz versus Henry Cejudo, right? Doesn't that sound exciting?
It does. I think you might be hurt right now, though, unfortunately.
No, he isn't, but so am I. Not only is my left shoulder, it went out too during the fight. I had swung and I couldn't use my left shoulder that much. It was terrible, man. I'm lifting right here and I'm feeling pain, man.
Last thing for me, you mentioned featherweight. I mean, you said you wanted to save the flyweight division. Dana was here earlier, and he said, listen, the flyweight division is sticking around. He trusts you as a guy that can defend both titles, but you didn't mention flyweight tonight. What are your intentions for flyweight? I mean, I got to imagine it'd be nice not to have to cut back down to 125 again, but you said you were saving it. So give us the game plan from here.
The thing is, for me, it's saved, man. Look, I just went up. I'm a flyweight win up, and I beat Marlon Moraes on a 15-fight win streak. What's wrong with the division? Demetrius Johnson was just so dominant that it's like, it's not up to me, guys. Guys, I suffer making 125 pounds. Whether I stay up or I go, like, man, the division is good. Benavidez has a win over me. What is it? ESPN, what is it, Dana White? Let's restructure this for the sake of a bunch of families.
Felicidades, champ. I remember 2 months ago, I asked you, which is your biggest strength? And you told me, your mind, believing yourself. You didn't mention your athletic skills or your wrestling. You said your mind and believe in yourself. How far do you think you can go, and how long do you think you can stay holding both titles?
Man, it's for as long as I want. But, man, and if anybody ever gets offended that I called them out, I just want to challenge myself. That's it. I just want to see how far I can push the mind, body, and soul. Like, that's almost my mission. It's probably not even so much fighting. It's more the love is just to compete against myself, against my will. You guys think it's easy coming up here and doing magic tricks and pulling out, snakes and rabbits out the bag? Like, man, I'm adding pressure to me. I'm adding pressure to me with the killer. A man that has 3 knockdowns in the first round. So, another thing that I'm going to talk about is I need to meet with Dana White too, man. I need a meeting with him because I need heavyweight money. I feel like I'm the face of the UFC now. And I should be beat. I want to get paid like one. And Dana White has been great to me. He's been really good. I have nothing bad to say, but I want to make heavyweight money. I want to change this game.
Question right here for Henry. Congratulations first. A lot this week was made of your karate stance, your wrestling, your boxing, but you put on a pace and didn't stop. How underplayed was your cardio and how much of a factor was that in that fight?
Man, I train with the sports performance-based company called Neuroforce One, and all my training, like everything, is just under science, like everything. And a lot of my credit, I owe to my team. I mean, there's the team of Captain America right there, which for you guys that are. In my opinion, that's a 2019 Coach of the Year. Not to go off subject, but Patricio Pitbull just won his second title. I mean, this man is breaking records too. 2 double champs. But anyway, what was the question again?
Your cardio, how much of a factor and how much of an underused weapon, or people don't talk about it as a big weapon for you?
Yeah, I think it's probably credit me, but you also want to discredit in this situation Marlon a little bit. That's a lot of power, man. I hope you can maintain throwing all that power with somebody that could take it. So, I would love to credit science too, but sometimes it's your rival too. That's a lot, man. There's a pace to this game.
And last week we saw Andy Ruiz knock out Anthony Joshua for the heavyweight championship, and you headlined a card with Tony Ferguson, Tatiana Suarez, a lot of Chicano fighters specifically. How important has the last week been for those type of athletes in the world of combat sports?
Oh man, it's in our heritage. But obviously, I always, first and foremost, I am an American, but from Mexican descent. But it's almost like when you're from Mexican descent, it's almost like in your DNA. It's almost like it's your job. If you're gonna fight, you better win. You fight to almost be a legend, because of the people that have paved the way for us. So when Andy Ruiz won, it was almost like it almost becomes a victory for like all of us, dude. So I took a lot of inspiration from him. Huge underdog.
Henry, congrats. When you lost to Demetrius in the first fight with Demetrius, could you ever have envisioned this day? Were you doubting yourself as a martial artist at that point?
It actually drove me a little bit more, Kevin. I needed to have that chip on my shoulder. But there was a point where I just didn't know if I even wanted to do MMA. Like, I was just so sick of competing that you guys forgive me. And I tell this story all the time. I think I probably told you a little too many times. But I remember my debut in Sacramento, I had retired. Like, when I didn't make weight, like, I was so embarrassed, and I was feeling, it was like almost in my heart. It's like, I don't even know if MMA's for me. I didn't make weight. I go up to Sean Shelby and I tell him, Sean, I says, thank you for everything, man, but I'm retiring, man. I'm sorry. I says, I'm sorry, man. And I went off and I crying, dude. I went straight to the airport and got a flight home. And I remember Captain Eric, and this is what I'm telling you, man. This is why, a coach is not just somebody that holds paths or techniques or is at your fights, but somebody that will tell you your truth. And I remember leaving, and I remember Eric was like, no, you're the best in the world, and you're the best in the world. This is your game. I believe in you. And I remember just pushing him aside, man. I was like, dude, get out of here. I had to close the door on him. He's like, you can still fight. Like, he was still trying to get me to fight, too. And I remember going back home, and I was there for 2 weeks, and I didn't come out of my room. And I've never been a guy to get, I don't want to say necessarily depressed, but sad over a loss, because I've always gave it my all. And that time, I felt like it was just, it hit me hard. But I remember after 2 weeks were done, I says, you know what? I called Sean Shelby. I said, Sean, I want to fight, man. Can you give me the biggest dog you got? I'll go at 135 pounds. So it's adversity, man. What's made me has been these things that have happened in my life. It's putting chips on my shoulder. I hate to lose, and I love to win.
Do you, after the Johnson fight, you lose to Benavidez? I mean, I know you think you probably won, and he thinks he won. So, like, did that even add further to it? Because you come back and you don't get back on the winning track right then and there.
Yeah, it does. It does. But it also humbles you a little bit too, and these are good lessons too. I take a lot from losses. I take a lot of the good out of it. I understand that it's beautiful because you know that you can lose at any given time. And I love doing Motivational Mondays for that reason. It's like, and I said it, you guys watch my Motivational Monday. I says, Marlon Moraes is a dangerous man. He can knock me out. I have a 50% chance of winning because he's so dangerous. But that goes for anybody across the board.
You mentioned that Santino had said in the corner, you need to do something. I mean, instinctually, were you aware of that? I mean, are you just so much in the moment that, you have to hear the coaches kind of tell you, hey, you need to make this adjustment? Or do you have that instinct in you that you can adjust on the fly, just sensing what's going on in the cage? I
had that instinct, and when he told me in the corner, and they told me, hey, dude, you just gotta be in boxing range. You can outbox this dude. You gotta hurt him, dude, because you're not gonna survive taking kicks like that. And I just says, okay. I says I would have to listen to, but I think I said, okay, I'm going in. I says I'm going in like a kamikaze.
How big were those knees? I guess as part of that, because you landed those knees, and that seemed like the beginning of the end of Marlon.
Yeah, I saw that, and I saw he was dunking his head. Like I said, it was a lot of it is he threw a lot of power. He threw a lot of power, and I won't be able to walk for the next week. So he was kind of dunking his head after a while. He was just throwing, and I just grabbed it, and I just went at it. And once I knew I hurt him with that first knee, I knew that was a key. I knew that the knees are going to change this fight.
Henry, Julian Virgin, first and foremost, respect to your accomplishments, man. Secondly, you had some issues. He stuffed a couple of your takedowns in the first and the second round. Could you describe the finishing sequence of the fight?
Man, I don't even know if I remember. A part of it, too, with the takedown was kind of not being able to leverage and really get explosive in there. 'Cause, I just didn't know how far I could take it. But the finishing touch was his demeanor. His demeanor, the fact that what he was showing me in his face, he was showing me in his breathing. He was showing people sometimes speak it when you fight.
You landed a couple elbows. Did you know at that point in time the fight was over? Were you going for the finish?
Yeah. I wanted to finish him. I knew my elbows were just going hard. They were coming at him like swords. And we had drilled that exact same side too this morning. Boom. So
there was a lot of animosity before the fight leading up to it. What was said following the final?
We just congratulated each other. Even like I said, even prior to this, besides the animosity, he's a great man. I can tell when people have beautiful souls. Marlon Moraes, I can tell by his presence, he has a really beautiful soul. So this was nothing but business for me. And, we shook hands like sportsmen. And we says, hey, man, congrats, dude. And I says, hey, man. I just said, I think I even told him I love him.
Finally, how did Chicago treat you this week?
Chicago was, Chi-Town is, I like it, man. I've been able to fight, my last 3 fights, I fought in LA, I fought in New York, and I fought in Chicago, man. Three of the the 3 biggest cities in America. So it's been cool to end it in Chicago.
Triple C, congratulations.
Oh, the schmo.
Last night, you had a nice Chicago dinner, steak dinner with your team. What was the theme of that dinner?
The theme of the dinner, to not talk about fighting? That's exactly what it was. Guys, doing media is a pain. Jesus, you guys have no idea. Poor Ronda McGregor. So you hear it all the time, and then your team wants to talk about it all the time. I'm just like, all right, guys, enough. Dude, talk about something else. So that's what the talk was about, not to talk about fighting.
You and Marlon are both represented by Ali. Has he contacted you? What was the message?
Ali hasn't. I haven't checked my phone. I'm sure he has. Ali's he's like a brother, man. Sometimes I think a lot of people, he's misunderstood by a lot of people. He's a great man. I'm sure he called.
What was the last thing he said to you?
He said, best of luck. He says, you're a legend. You accomplish everything, man. He says, I look up to you. I'm just like, damn, Ali, it's really nice of you, man.
Thank you.
Henry, my last 2 in Spanish. Después del primer asalto, ¿qué fue lo que cambió? Te había castigado mucho, sobre todo en el primer round, con esas patadas a las piernas. ¿Qué fue lo que cambiaste? ¿Cómo hiciste tu approach para poder dar la vuelta a la pelea?
Man, eso le creo que el corazón, o sea, más que todo si estaba lastimado. O sea, entré lastimado y me lastimó. Fue doble el dolor. Pero fue el querer, o sea, fue algo del corazón, fue algo de, hey, man, me pertenece a mí. Ese fue más el pensamiento para mí. Esto me pertenece a mí. Y en el segundo round me dijeron, mi entrenador me dijo, si tú quieres ganar esta pelea, necesitas boxear a él, necesitas estar enfrente de él. Y eso es lo que hicimos. Yo les dije, bueno, si eso es lo que vamos a hacer, le voy a entrar. Y le entré.
Con ese tipo de victorias, Henry, ¿dónde crees que ese tipo de triunfos te ponen actualmente dentro del deporte y dentro del UFC?
De verdad no sé, de verdad, man, significa mucho. No te puedo decir dónde está rankeado, pero significa mucho. Significa mucho porque, man, yo respeto mucho a Marlon. Yo creo que él es un peleador muy bueno, o sea, 15 consecutivas de peleas, o sea, noqueando a todos en el primer round, yo sabía. Eso no fue tanto por el cinturón, pero creo que también fue él. Porque yo sabía que era el número 1 contendiente aquí en los Estados Unidos, digo, en el mundo.
Henry, de este lado, ya mencionabas el orgullo que te causó la victoria de Andy Ruiz, y él lo va a recibir el martes, el presidente de México, allá en la Ciudad de México. ¿Es un honor que te interesaría tener también a ti? Es un caso muy similar, nacido en Estados Unidos, pero hijo de mexicanos.
Dile al presidente que me invita, porque no tengo dile que me invita, yo quiero ir. Yo quiero ir al padre de todo México. Claro, quiero mi invitación.
Digo, obviamente lo de Andy Ruiz ha llamado mucho la atención, pero tal vez tienes más méritos todavía, la medalla de oro, los 2 títulos.
Sí, como te digo, no sé, man, de verdad, yo sé que eso va a traer mucha atención para mí. Yo sé que va a traer mucha atención. ¿Sí me entiendes? Necesito hablar con Dana White, con mi equipo, y a ver qué es lo que me conviene más como peleador, man, porque yo pienso que nosotros necesitamos pagar un poquito más. Yo creo que yo me lo merezco. Yo quiero tener esa junta con Dana White. Primero antes de pelear, porque yo me la merezco. Medalla de oro, cinturones, 2. Ya estoy listo para hacer un billetazo. Y no tengo hambre de dinero, nomás le estoy diciendo la verdad. Yeah, thank you guys so much.